Horror movies are not my thing. I'm man enough to admit that when I'm forced to watch a horror movie by my so-called friends, I hide under a blanket as soon as I sense some jump scare bullshit about to happen. I can't stand it. Call me whatever names you want, but that's the reality for most people, alright? Let's not act like we're all tough guys out here. But there's something even more terrifying than regular horror movies, and that's analog horror. There's just something about the unknown that makes it so terrifying, and there's never any jump scares. But then again, it's fucking scary. A horror movie is a piece of cake to survive, but analog horror is outside the realm of reality. And if I'm being real, I wouldn't last 10 fucking minutes in the backrooms or the Mandela catalog. If you don't know, the Mandela catalog takes place in the fictional Mandela County in Wisconsin. This county is being overrun and terrorized by shape-shifting inhuman creatures, practically demons. Nigga, I'm already out. These creatures are called alternates, led by a false depiction of the Archangel Gabriel. They're nearly immortal. Don't ask me how or what nearly means, or how they got to that conclusion. These creatures have one goal, and that's to eradicate humanity through psychological torture. I don't know why they chose psychological torture to do this, or Wisconsin either. Personally, I thought it'd be smarter to start in China or India or somewhere with a bigger population. I ain't never hear about anybody actually living in Wisconsin. Matter of fact, all I know is that they have a fuck ton of cheese or some bullshit like that. The Mandela catalog plays around with a lot of references from the Bible, such as Noah's Ark, Adam and Eve, Mary and Joseph, and the birth of Jesus. Alternates are said to be biblical demons, and that the false depiction of Archangel Gabriel is just Satan in disguise. You know the saying, an angel makes itself look scary to ward off evil, and a demon makes itself look beautiful to attract humans? Well, I'd say that's some pretty shitty logic, cause I've never seen a hot demon. Except in those weird as fuck animes y'all be watching, that shit is practically porn. But getting back to the point, the whole story is wildly terrifying, and while getting into major detail would take damn near a couple hours, the premise is simple, if your attention span is somewhat intact. You simply have to survive against these beings that can either look scarily human, or that look like dead-ass skinwalkers, and if you get it wrong, you're as good as dead. Now let me make it very clear, I would not survive this bullshit, dog. Imagine coming home from school or work and seeing your family look and act as if it's their first day on earth, or even just coming back to see them look completely deformed and inhuman. I'm not gonna lie, I'd immediately run and get a Bible or a cross or some shit, cause that's your only chance of survival. Now, if I was at home and I got the notice on TV, then it's game over. I'm locking and boarding up all the doors and windows, and I'm immediately getting myself a Glock. I'd deadass just walk into a police station and risk getting shot to death rather than having one of those creatures mangle me or whatever the fuck it is they try to do. Following the trend of non-human humans, the game No, I'm Not a Human has the same damn terrifying premise. What is it with these writers and their obsessions with skinwalkers? In the game, there are creatures called visitors who look scarily similar to humans. You live in a house and you can either let refugees in at the risk of them being a visitor or be a dick and tell them to fuck off. Look, call me a dick, but I wouldn't let anybody in. If there's even a chance I die, then fuck that shit, man. As the days progress in the game, things get worse and worse, and over time, this creepy looking fuck who's clearly a visitor, deadass just terrorizes you. Be so fucking for real, dog. Who is letting this guy in? While you might see some interesting characters like him lounging around in Skid Row, LA, this game is based in post-Soviet era Russia. So while you might find teenagers drinking vodka and smoking cigarettes on the streets or in the park, you won't find many meth head looking dudes like that guy. The worst part? He doesn't even want to come in. He'll just keep on harassing you until you get to the ending. Thankfully, unlike the Mandela catalog where people look exactly like humans, in this game, there are a few conditions to separate the visitors from regular humans. The first sign is perfectly white teeth. My fucking bad for having good oral hygiene, I guess. Some of you guys need to go see a dentist every once in a while. Dirty fingernails are the second sign of a visitor, because according to the lore, these visitors live underground and dig themselves out during night. Now, not to tell the government how to do their job, well, I mean, looking at the political state of the world right now, maybe people should voice their opinions, but isn't it just smarter to, well, shoot anything that comes digging out of the fucking earth? I really doubt there are any friendly visitors. Bloodshot eyes are the next sign, so all you potheads out there, beware. But here's where the signs get a bit invasive. The visitors have hairless armpits. Now, I had to think about this for a while, because how the fuck do you ask to see somebody's armpits? I mean, speaking logically here, what do you just go up to them and ask them? Sure, it's not like a fucking prostate exam, but regardless, it's not something you just do. There are tons of other signs such as insects inside the ears, bleeding gums, skin irritation, rapid eye movement, yada yada yada, but let's be realistic here. I'm not letting a soul inside my house if this happened. Again, my only fucking option is boarding up the windows and doors and hoping for the best. Now, I know the biggest fucking flaw in my plan is food and water. Thankfully, the house you're in this game has a pretty stocked pantry, and there's a delivery service which lets you order anything you want. I mean, I don't know who'd subject themselves to making deliveries while these monsters are out walking around at night, but chase the bag, I guess. You gotta have some balls and be in a terrible financial situation to do all that, bro. But the second issue with my plan is that if nobody enters the house, the meth head dude low-key just fucking kills you. That's it. Game over. So considering that I gotta suck it up and start checking fucking armpit hairs and shit, I'm just moving countries and living in fucking Alaska or Antarctica until all this bullshit ends. Worse than this though is living in a world where SCP is real. If you aren't familiar with the SCP Foundation, it's a fictional foundation dedicated to securing, containing, and protecting anomalies from humans and humans from anomalies. There are just about 1 million different anomalies, but the scariest ones are SCP-096, 173, 3008, and my personal favorite, SCP-001. SCP-096 is a humanoid creature which is unnaturally tall at 7 feet 9 inches. While it would do wonders in the NBA, it hates being seen. It'll kill anyone who's seen its face. Otherwise, dude's pretty chill. Personally, I think he's just a little shy and insecure, but aren't we all? His arms are unusually long and he looks pretty skinny, despite his jaw being able to open up to 4 times the size of any normal human being. He has no eyes and he's a little slow. There doesn't seem to be much higher brain function present, but like I said earlier, if anybody sees its face, they're toast. It'll break out of whatever containment has been put in and will literally run to the ends of the earth to find and kill whoever looks at it while screaming. It could be a video, direct viewing, through glasses, through a window, or even a photo. Yeah, there. Now we've all seen it. If I'm dead, so are you. Somewhere in this photo are 4 pixels of SCP-096's face. Another terrifying SCP is SCP-173, almost the complete opposite of 096, a weeping angel. When you're watching it, it won't move. The moment you take your eyes off of it, it'll move as close to you as possible before snapping your neck and killing you. Quite charming. This one's a lot easier to secure and contain, but even then, it's extremely dangerous. Not as scary as SCP-3008 though, the Infinite IKEA. It's pretty much as the name suggests. It's an infinite IKEA. The entrance is just a regular ass IKEA, but the moment anyone enters, they somehow end up in this infinite IKEA where there are skinwalkers roaming around everywhere. I'll be honest, there's no telling what'll happen to you once you're in there, but I'm not gonna lie. Trying to survive an infinite IKEA sounds low-key like a fun ass day if you got a couple friends to do it with. That is assuming that you manage to find the exit faster than something in there finds you. Finally, SCP-001, or honestly the scariest but most beautiful SCP there is, the world's gone beautiful.
This event happens 24 hours before all life on Earth comes to an end. Firstly, bright and beautiful flowers will suddenly bloom across 90% of the Earth's viable surface. Secondly, the weather will clear across the world, and the ambient temperature will adjust to a comfortable level for the majority of the populace. And finally, everyone will become aware of the inevitable end of all life. However, they will not panic or become violent, they will just be calm. 24 hours later, and the total end of all life on Earth will come, but we will be calm, happy, and ready.
This shit nearly brought a tear to my eye. It's an SCP nobody survives, and it's a fitting end to the SCP, considering they've done all they can to secure, contain, and protect. Overall, there's over 10,000 SCPs, maybe even more, and all of them could range from being incredibly mundane like a mug of coffee to the scariest abomination possible. Ignorance is bliss. The backrooms, however, is not a place you'd want to be ignorant. You'd want to be very fucking alert in there. There's literally no telling what is gonna come from where to slime your ass in a matter of seconds. And the backrooms is where you see that there really is levels to this shit. It's one of the staples of creepypasta and analog horror, and if you haven't heard of it, you've probably most definitely seen it. It's clearly not in the realm of reality, which is why it's called a liminal space. According to Wikipedia, liminal spaces are empty or abandoned places that appear eerie, forlorn, and often surreal. Liminal spaces are commonly places of transition pertaining to the concept of liminality. I'm not even gonna pretend that I understand what half of that means, but basically it's fucking creepy, alright? It's not somewhere I or anyone would want to be caught up in. It's a bunch of uncanny bullshit, and that's what makes the backrooms so terrifying. People love to say ignorance is bliss, but not knowing is what's so fucking scary about the backrooms. You don't know how you got there, and you don't know what to do, where to go, or even what's in there with you. Like, niggas could be stuck in a desert for days and make it out, but you put someone in here and they'll go fucking crazy. There's no guideline on how to survive some bullshit like this. You could be walking down the street and boom, you're in this pissed looking hellhole. But it only gets worse, because this fairly familiar looking place is level 0. You start here. Flickering lights everywhere, damp carpet for some reason, and the shitty fucking fluorescent office lighting all over the place place, level 0 always leads into level 1. The habitable zone looks very industrial, with everything being made out of concrete looking like the asshole of a building with pipes and wires running everywhere, leaking something into the floors. There are about 6 different sectors in level 1, all of them looking particularly the same except for the garden sector and the fabled sector. For those geniuses out there, the garden sector looks like, well, a garden. I don't know what else you expected. The fabled sector looks like some rundown 90s law firm and is no less scarier than the others. Level 2 is just a bunch more fucking pipes and corridors, except it's all narrow and tiny, so for anyone with claustrophobia, it's a big ol' fuck you. That's basically it for level 2. There's not much else to do there other than maybe fuck with some of the pipes if you're into that, I guess. Fucking weirdos. Making it to level 3, and by this point, you need to understand that this shit is not getting any better. You're really gonna have to rough it out in here, and level 3 looks like an abandoned prison. There will be some random fucking entities to ruin your day, so I advise that to not fucking no-clip into this bitch in the first place. But if you somehow managed to do so and are watching this video, then let me put your mind at ease. You're fucking cooked, buddy. On God, you're not making it out of there. Count your fucking days. What, you thought this was gonna be a tutorial or some shit? Did you really not read the fucking video title? It explicitly says that I shit myself in these analog horrors, not that I'd escape. There's a pretty long list of the entities in level 3. Hounds, facelings, wretches, male and female death moths, skin stealers, dullers, smilers, clumps, and bursters. There's also something called crawler fungus growing in the level, but I wouldn't want to find out. Level 4 is similar to level 0, but it's more of a modern looking office building, and it's relatively safe. There's not many entities in this one, but there are windows. These windows are said to be traps, so if you do plan a trip down here, bring some vitamin gummies. I really doubt you're getting a healthy amount of vitamin D in this place. While there are hounds and dullers in this one, level 4 is pretty fucking chill for being part of the backrooms. I mean, this shit has water coolers, vending machines, and water fountains that have something called the almond water. Apparently, it's meant to taste good and be good for your health, but I'll take my chances on that. Finally, level 5 is the last one I'm talking about before I get any nightmares tonight. This level is an infinite hotel with tons of rooms and halls that look like it's from the early 1900s. It's pretty nice, and there's some nice ambient party noise that you can never reach. That's either somewhat comforting or entirely terrifying based on what type of person you are. Overall though, there are 100 levels in the backrooms, including all the sub-levels, and I'm man enough to admit that I'm too much of a pussy to venture down this godforsaken rabbit hole. The first proper analog horror movie is being made on the backrooms, and you will not catch me watching that shit alone at home. If I watch that shit, it's 100% in theaters with a strap and fingers over my eyes.